Hi, I'm Cynthia Lech. Thanks for joining us today. The purpose of this discussion is to give you instructions on how to fill out the Iowa Bar Association's Healthcare Power of Attorney. They've made this form available for free on their website, which is really awesome of them. There are two types of powers of attorney. There's the healthcare power of attorney that we're going to be talking about today, and there's also the general durable power of attorney. The general durable power of attorney is for everything that isn't healthcare. So that means managing your finances. It also means dealing with your investment companies, dealing with the cell phone company or the utility company, having permission to take your dog to the vet, applying for government benefits, all kinds of things that we didn't think about. That's the general durable power of attorney. You need both, the general durable power of attorney and the healthcare power of attorney. And if you want both, you can get them from our website here. There's another link here called Power of Attorney Package. It costs $50. I'm not making money on that. That's what it costs us to process those documents. But if you're at the point where you don't want both and you just want your healthcare power of attorney, the Iowa Bar Association has made that form available to you. We have our own custom forms that are a little bit different and give you more choices. So this is a little bit more straightforward. So if you don't have that document yet, you're going to go get it. So what you're going to do is you're going to go to the Iowa Bar Association's website, which is iowabar.org, IOWABAR.org. And at the bottom of that first page, there'll be a series of boxes. And one of the boxes says Living Will, which is a little bit misnomer because we're talking about healthcare power of attorney, aren't we? Click on that box that says Living Will. And then there's a whole bunch of information about what is a living will and what is a power of attorney, healthcare power of attorney. If you keep on scrolling down to the bottom of that page, you'll see a link to two different documents. One document is the healthcare power of attorney. The other document is a combination, healthcare power of attorney and living will. And so what is a living will? You can read that from the Bar Association's website more, but generally that's if you are in a coma or in a persistent vegetative state and you're going to die, then do you want them to keep you alive as long as they can? If that answer is no, then you want the living will. If that answer is yes, keep me alive as long as you can, then you don't need the living will part, you just want the healthcare power of attorney document. You're also going to need either a notary or two witnesses. The witnesses need to be people who are over 16 years old, and they cannot be people that you are going to name somewhere else in your document. So get your...
This one does say 18.
Oh, it says 18 on it. Well, okay, so the form itself says 18 on it, and so we're going to go with that because I'm not going to tell you something different that's on than what's on the form. So your witnesses need to be 18 years old, and or you need to have a notary, and they cannot be people who you're going to list somewhere else in your document as people who are going to help you make decisions. All right, so get your forms, get your notary or your witnesses, and then get the names and telephone numbers of the people who you are going to be naming as the people who can make decisions for you if you're not able to make them for yourself. And then come on back to this video and we'll go through this document in real time together. All right, welcome back. By now you should have your form. This is Sandra. In case you missed the first part of this, she's our volunteer, and I'm going to be giving Sandra the directions to fill out this form as she goes through it. So if you have the healthcare power of attorney and living will, if that's the one you printed, that first paragraph is the living will part of this. And basically that says, don't keep me alive. If I have an incurable condition and I'm in a persistent vegetative state and I'm gonna die, I don't wanna be kept alive. You're gonna already be hooked up to machines by this point because that's what they're gonna do. What this really means is, you know, unplug me, unhook me, don't give me the extra measures. If my heart stops, don't start it, all of those kinds of things. Now we're gonna skip down to number 2. Number 2 says power of attorney for healthcare decisions. And it says I in a comma, and what I'd like you to do here is to print your legal name, including your middle initial. Then there's a comma that says born. After born, you put your birthday. Then it says designate. So now is the time when you're going to be listing the person who is going to make healthcare decisions for you if you cannot make them for yourself. So who is that going to be? Some people just automatically list their spouse or automatically list their oldest child. That's really not the way to do it. Some people want to list all of their children. That's not the way to do it either. Legally, can you put more than one person there? Yes. But I'm going to tell you, having the experience of being elder law attorney, is not a good idea to put more than one person there, and there are lots of reasons why. The very first reason being that in some cases the medical providers will require that everybody agrees, or that they're able to get hold of everybody. And so if there's somebody there that's not available, then you're stuck in limbo. So it's list one person who is going to be the person to make decisions, healthcare decisions for you, if you cannot make them for yourself. List that person's name and their phone number. The document says name, address, and phone number. People move, and they're not going to be writing your agent a letter to tell them to make healthcare decisions for you. So if you have the address, fine and dandy, put it in there. If you don't have the address, it's not critical. If you don't have the phone number, keep filling this document out, but when we're done, you go find the phone number and put it on that document. Oh, and it might be a good idea for you to designate who this person is. So if you say David Letch in my family, 3 people turn around. And so if you're naming, you might want to put comma spouse or comma son or comma granddaughter, whoever that person, whatever that person's relationship is to you. You could put comma friend. It does not have to be a relative that you put in that first spot. It needs to be the person who's going to be in the best position to make healthcare decisions for you if you can't make them yourself. So it needs to be somebody who knows you and somebody who's available. All right, so now we're going to skip down to where it says optional. It says optional twice. We're going to the first time it says optional. If the person designated as agent above, so this is your bench, like a baseball game, who's on deck, who's next. So if the first person is not able to make decisions for you, they've died, they're sick, they moved away, whatever that reason is, or they just don't want to, you know, then if they just don't want to or they're sick, then you're going to have some proof that they don't want to or that they're sick in order for the second person to actually use this document. But then who's next? And put that person's name and relationship to you and phone number in that spot. Okay, Sandra's done writing, and I hope that you are too. And we'll move on to the next provision that also says optional. So this says specific instructions or statement of desires, if any. What the heck does that mean? So, and I'll tell you, even as a lawyer, I'm not exactly sure. The only thing that I have ever thought about putting in this spot is something that is related to your religious preferences. So for example, for some people, they do not want a blood transfusion. It's against their religion, and so their agent does not have the authority to approve a blood transfusion. And if that's your situation, then put, you know, my agent does not have authority to approve a blood transfusion. If there is some other specific medical treatment that you know you do not want, then you can put it in that blank. However, this is not the place where you put do not resuscitate. So if that's your situation, you say, well, even if I'm not in a coma and my heart gives out, I don't want to be resuscitated, putting it in this document is not going to have any effect on that whatsoever. That's just not how the law operates. All right, so then the next section we have underneath that is the organ donor section. You'll see there's a yes and there's a no. So do not answer this question based on whether or not you think they're going to want anything. Oh, no one's going to want anything from me, and you just mark no. You would be surprised the things they ask for, even from older people. So the purpose of this section is to ask you, if the doctor asks your agent, can we have blank, fill in the blank, if your agent has your approval to say yes, you can say yes, then you mark an X after the yes. If that answer is no, I don't want my agent to give anything, I want my whole body intact, then you say no. All right, now we're to the signature part of this. So you should have your witnesses or your agent or your notary handy with you. And then you're going to want to put today's date next to where it says signed on. Then you're going to want to put your legal signature there. So however you wrote your name on the first page, if you used a middle initial, sign it legally with your middle initial. If you used your whole middle name, then sign it using your whole middle name. Then you're going to want to put your address and street there. It doesn't matter if you're planning to move or if you moved recently. It's not that relevant to this document. And then print or type your name. So you're going to print your name just the way that you signed it. And now you'll see there's two spots here for some other people to sign. One is a notary public form and the other is the witness form. This needs to be either notarized or witnessed. So if you have witnesses with you, then you're going to take an X and draw an X through where it says notary public form. If you have a notary public with you and you're going to have it notarized, then you take your pen and draw an X through the witness part of that. So either notarized or witnesses. And now it's time, your witnesses need to put their signature, if they're witnesses, their signatures there, and then print their name so that we can read them. And then you don't need to put their whole street address, like we usually just use city and state. So it would be Grimes, Iowa. We're in Grimes. Moving back up to the notary, your notary public, if you have someone with you, they should know how to fill out this notary public blank. State of is Iowa, of course. County of is wherever you are right now. So if it doesn't have to be in your home. So wherever you are, whatever county you're in right now when you're signing this, that's what goes there. And then this record was acknowledged before me on, that would be today's date. By would be your name, and then the signature of the notary, and the notary would put her stamp or his stamp on this document. So that takes us, we're finished with page 2, now we're on page 3. There's some general information here about healthcare powers of attorney, some definitions. You should read through those at your leisure. And then at the bottom, there's some suggested things to do with your power of attorney, and I suggest you read those. One thing to know is a copy is just as legally binding as the original. So you can give people copies of this. That is perfectly fine and good, and you should. This document is revocable and changeable at any time, by the way. So if you have changed your mind about who you want as agent, or you've changed your mind about wanting the living will or not wanting the living will, you can do a new one of these anytime that you're competent to do that. And then if you've done a new one, you should recirculate it among everybody you gave the old one to, because how do they know you did a new one? All right. Now we're at the authorization for release of information, and you'll notice clear up in the first paragraph, there's a blank in that paragraph that needs a date in it. So it's only about the second or third sentence in the document, put today's date right there. And now you're going to see another box that's got some blanks in it and a place for a signature. The purpose of this box is because we have several different laws in Iowa that protect your health information. And they're not all included or accounted for within the Healthcare Power of Attorney Act that creates the ability for you to have one document that gives somebody the right to make decisions for you. So this box is intended to deal with that disconnect of, oh wait, what about this other protected health information? Can we get that information too? And that answer should be yes. So this box deals with sexually transmitted diseases, behavioral and mental health, alcohol and drug use, and genetic information. And you need to put an X on each one of those little lines that you're giving your approval. Yes, my person making healthcare decisions for me can have access to this information as well. My suggestion to you is that you do put an X in every single one of those lines, because if somebody else is making healthcare decisions for you, they need to have all of the healthcare information available. You don't try to hide any of your health information. And then you're gonna, where it says signature of principal, that's you. You're gonna sign that just like you signed before. So sign your legal name there and then put today's date. So then we're going to keep on moving down, and this is still basically authority to obtain and re-release health information. So the healthcare power of attorney part gives you the right to make decisions but you also need the right to get the information that you need and to re-release the information that's been given to you. So if you've talked to a doctor, you need permission to be able to pass that information along to another healthcare provider, to the pharmacy, to the physical therapist, whoever else needs to be in the loop of what this person needs that you're helping. So we're at the bottom of page 4. Now we're turning the page. That's the little HIPAA language right there. And so you're going to put the date there. And then there's a sign, there's another blank, that big long blank that's there. Sign your legal name there just like you did 2 times before. And then under there it says comma grantor. You are the grantor. So print your legal name there in front of the words grantor. The healthcare power of attorney document that you just signed is only an active document if you are not able to make your own healthcare decisions. As long as you are able to make your own healthcare decisions, then no one else can make them for you. However, this last part that we just signed is part of the HIPAA release. And so what that part of the document does is it makes your agent able to communicate with the doctors now, even though you can still make your own decisions. So if there's a doctor's office or somebody who says, oh, she's still able to make her own decisions, I can't tell you anything, you say, no, there's a HIPAA release that's attached to that healthcare power of attorney. You can talk to me now. So that is it. That concludes our training on how to complete the Iowa Bar Association's healthcare power of attorney and living will. And now, if you have decided that you would like to have the general durable power of attorney, then you would want to go to the link on our website for the power of attorney package, which would include a healthcare power of attorney and a general durable power of attorney. And you're going to receive the intake form for both of those documents, even though you've just done a healthcare power of attorney. And we will send you a new intake form for a healthcare power of attorney, and that is because our healthcare powers of attorney are more comprehensive than what the Iowa Bar Association's form is. So there are more decisions that you'll be asked to make. There'll be more people that you'll be able to add to your HIPAA release for who can talk to the doctor instead of just the one person that you've named as agent. But this document, even if you do that, this document will be effective until or unless you, if you just do the financial power of attorney from our office, that's fine. But if you're going to do the healthcare power of attorney document also, this one is still effective until that one becomes effective, and then that one would take the place of this one. So if you've given this one to anyone, then you want to replace it with the new one if you get one. Also available on our website are links to get your will with contingent beneficiary trust. That's for people who have minor children, and a revocable living trust. That's for people who own real estate and are going to be leaving their property to real live adults and want to avoid the probate process. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you found this instruction helpful, and we hope you stay safe. This is Cynthia Letch at Letch Law Firm. This is Sandra, my volunteer, and we both say good luck.